To the 20, and he's gone! Touchdown! Easton Sadinsky! The Bulldogs get the football! Unbelievable! There goes Terry! Touchdown, Grandville! Pressure coming, down he goes! Wyman busting through! The junior shot out of a cannon! Jump pass, caught Connolly! He's got the speed! He had 2 returns last year against Caledonia! Easton Sadinsky! Touchdown! Grandville! Dawgs back on top! Brings the pressure, and down he goes! It's Braylon Haney on the sack. Shut down. Reed Graverson and Garrett Naraki. So the Jaden Terry again. Easy touchdown. Jaden with his second of the night.
Welcome to MGN on Michigan Sports Radio. All right, hey everyone, and welcome in to Dawgs Plus Week 6 edition. Nate and Chandler, a little bit different episode. This week, once again, apologies, a little bit shorter one. I've got an event this weekend that I've got to be on my way to, so we're not doing the game this weekend. You can watch the student broadcast through the Grandville Athletics YouTube page. They do a great job with that, so they'll have the coverage, but because of that, we decided let's not do an interview, let's just kind of speed through it, but still wanted to deliver a show on the back end of course, such a big week and a different perspective that we had down field side for that one. As always, follow us at MI Game Night on social media, and thanks to the Bennett Sinner Farmers Insurance Agency for presenting everything we do here at Michigan Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. So yeah, let's I guess just kind of dive into it here as Grandville, for the first time since the 2017 season, gets shut out by Rockford last Friday night at Bulldogs Stadium. Chandler, I guess give us kind of some of your initial thoughts. I mean, we certainly learned a lot about both teams that we knew we were going to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, that's just one that hurts, I guess, is the best way to say it. Especially from our perspective down on the sideline, it kind of felt a little bit more like firsthand we were witnessing what happened on the field. And yeah, tough one. I mean, going into it, it felt like it was going to be a close game. Yep. Typically is between those two teams. Based on previous results, the season and stuff, and kind of looking at things on paper, it's one that you felt like was going to be a close game either way. And yeah, it's really the simple way to put it is Rockford kind of dominated. They dominated the trenches. Mm-hmm. They dominated the game plan. They were the better team, and even without their starting quarterback, which maybe is now their starting quarterback. That's not a quarterback controversy, but maybe there is. Who knows? But yeah, I guess the number one takeaway is Rockford's legit. They had a tough loss early in the season to Saline, but that's a really good team, and I think Rockford established that they're for real in the OK Red.
Yeah. Total yards. Grandville 119, 103 rush, 16 pass. Rockford 332 total, 156 pass, 176 rush. They were balanced. They were dominant. Whitford, the sophomore, came in, and I mean, first drive they just went 5 wide, and he was dotting people up, and they kind of power ran it the next drive. Grandville defense got a stranglehold. I mean, it's a game that I think has to get flushed, and there's other things we can talk about it within it. I mean, frankly, I don't know how. They kicked Grandville's ass in every aspect. I mean, it was in the trenches. It was pretty dominant. I mean, on the whole, like I don't know how else to say it. Play that in the locker room if you have to play it. I mean, but it's being on the field for that game was really fun for about 2 plays, by the way.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I wish I was calling this. And actually, unfortunately for like Chandler standing next to me, there were points where I like started kind of like muttering what my call would have been in a moment. So unfortunately, so it was fun for that long, and then it kind of wore off. I'm like, I really want to be back in the booth. I mean, there's a moment. I bought this hat, by the way. Shout out to the the Dog Den, the student store. Sweet hat. They were like running out of these things. We were heading up to the booth to do the halftime show. I'm like, I want that hat. So I bought it, and then I was just full going down to the ship at halftime on the Rockford halftime show.
You made a stand though.
Hang on. I'm a Cubs fan, and I think Dansby just got a hit. We're recording this live during the show. This is the professionalism that that you come here for. That's a big hit right there. So yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. Some ways I kind of felt like the score too mimicked it. Kind of felt like we're back in high school, just wearing team colors head to toe for one team, and then losing the game and whatever. So it was very similar to being back in high school. It was a lot of fun.
It was, yeah. Got to be a part of the atmosphere a little bit more, and it was fun to be on the sideline. We were kind of figuring out what the strategy is going to be, like following the ball. Are we staying in one spot?
Started staying in one spot more as it went on.
As it went on, we were kind of camped out in one spot. The first drive when the Bulldogs had the ball, I was like, oh, this is good. Got a couple first downs, and then we didn't move a whole lot.
Too lazy to walk. Yeah, that was So it was.
But you were living and dying on the sideline. I even got a picture of you on there. You were standing there getting into the game, and it was pretty cool. Yeah,
it was so let's kind of break the game down a little bit. The impact of Jaden Terry. I mean, we felt it, and I even heard. I talked to Brock, the Rockford MSR guy. We did a hour-long post-mortem on the phone Saturday morning. I think he said, the Rockford coaches kind of mentioned, without the speed of Jaden Terry, it definitely changed. And Rockford already is known for diving at knees and stacking the box and sending guys at the A gap. I mean, they stacked it. They were able to kind of sell out. Grandville was going to have to come up with a counter with it next time, because we saw versus Caledonia how dominant they still can be on offense. But now Rockford, who is, I did not know they had a rotation of 300-pounders in the trench. That would have been interesting to know. But I think we kind of saw, all right, this is where Grandville's going to have to adjust this for however long they're without Tank.
Yeah, I think, of course, Rockford is very notorious for being the best at stopping the tee. And from our perspective, Friday, you kind of got to see why up close and personal and focus a little bit more on the trenches, and just the way that their sheer size that they had, as you just were kind of hitting on, and the guys that they have along the defensive line, as well as the size and the speed at linebacker, some physical players there that play really well. Of course, their strategy in stopping the tee is essentially getting down on all fours and crawling forward so that the offensive line of the Bulldogs can't, pull and can't move and can't do what they typically do against defenses. It just clogs everything, makes it so that there's really nowhere to even run, especially between the tackles. And because Tank was out and that off-tackle run wasn't there as much, and that speed to the outside, they could sell out to, this run's going to be between the tackles, we're going to blow it up, and their linebackers could just flow whichever way they saw the ball going or felt like it was going to be going. And just made things really difficult, especially on the early downs. They could blow up some of those runs for short gains, get into those obvious passing situations where it's third and long, and kind of just more of the same, where some of those longer developing pass play action type plays, Fogelsonger's getting hit in the backfield as soon as he turns around, because they're blowing the defensive line up and the linebackers are through in a second. And so, some things to work on there, but it's always hard to know exactly, because Rockford is so good at, they're built to stop the tee. They know they know exactly what they have to do. Every other team likely on Grandville's schedule is not going to be able to defend them that way. So it's kind of one of those things where you got to come up with a game plan specifically for Rockford, and that's kind of always been the case. And it showed kind of, again, that chess match and the back and forth, the counter. Rockford had the upper hand in this one. Now what can the Bulldogs offense do moving forward? And
they'll get another chance at them. And they'll get another chance at them with this unit having 5-6 weeks or so together. In all likelihood, we'll look at snoozetoyou.com in a minute, where this week's mapatology is sitting at. I think there will be things to carry forward. They get another chance. I think this team is PO'd now. I'm going to censor myself now after what I said earlier. I think they're pissed now. I mean, I think you could tell that after the game. There's a look. I think they knew that there's going to have to be some resetting, and I would not doubt it's going to be, and that's what Brock kept telling me, that the Rockford thing's like, hey, we know the next game's 0-0. And, we've seen Grandville, I think back to 2020, 28-7, similar game, just played terrible in the regular season first game, and then Grandville kind of dominates the playoff game to some extent, and then you go to overtime and triple overtime and all the crap that happened in between. Keep an eye out. Last point on this game, and this is like real talk, like even shtick aside. I think Rockford at this point in time is, I think rankings and stuff, they aren't necessarily going to be one, but we'll learn this week. They play Hudsonville. I would be surprised to see Hudsonville win that game. This Rockford team is where we thought their deficiencies are actually their strengths, it turns out.
Yeah, that's kind of what we figured out. And they showed that some of those Rockford teams of old and the physicality and the style of play that they had, this team still has. And, kind of one of the question marks going into it was the quarterback play, and, to be determined exactly who's going to be starting moving forward, whether because of injury or just because of the change there. But they found something, I think, on Friday night as far as when they spread it out, able to get the ball out quick and take what they could get on the outside. They have some big body receivers that they didn't even necessarily have to stretch the field vertically a ton Friday night, but they could. They were able to spread the ball out, and then there was times where they would go physical out of the I form, and they were gashing as well in the run game. And so offensively, we're able to get a lot of things done too. And so I think a real complete team there when their offense is able to work like that. And then, of course, we just talked about what they're able to do defensively. But, yeah, a real big game there, Rockford-Hudsonville. Not to give anything away in my rankings yet, but I've got it close. I'll just say okay. I've got it close.
Number one is up, will be determined this week.
That's exactly right. Yeah, number one will be determined this week. That's a for sure.
Yeah. Note also, the Grandville defense, I mean, they're on the field a lot.
Mm-hmm.
To give up 28, got gashed on those first two drives, and then really settled down and whatever. Like the defense, I don't think you could ask for much more out of. Really, to only give up 28 with as much as they wound up being on the field, the way that started 14-0. I think the Grandville defense, at least, there are some definite positives against what I think is a pretty dangerous Rockford offense that we saw in that regard, and I think that all kind of comes together. So that's our quick recap. We won't, as the team not going to dwell on it, and we'll kind of push forward here. Grandville has Jenison for homecoming this week, and we won't be there as we mentioned off the top. All right, now we're going to take a look here at Mapatology via snooze2u.com and a look at where we're sitting right now in terms of the Division I playoff chase. Again, as we get a little bit closer, maybe we'll look at other divisions, but at this point in time, we also understand where our bread is buttered on this show and who actually watches it. So the situation is interesting because, of course, you have Grandville Jenison this week, and they are right now dead even on playoff points, and they're both like in the low 20s or so, I think, in the state. So both very safe. And Grandville, if they take care of business against Jenison and Grand Haven, they're in the playoffs. But the interesting thing is fighting for playoff sake. Now, again, Grandville wins out, and you're back in the discussion potentially for a 1 seed based on how things go, or at least the 2 seed. But the question of 3 versus 4 is kind of interesting because Jenison, after this week, is going to be done with the big 3 of the OK Red. They actually are going to have winnable games for them the rest of the way after this, versus, of course, Grandville then has the Grand Haven game, which is winnable, and then East Kentwood and Hudsonville, which would be very difficult. So, right now, the thing is, though, if you're the 3 or the 4, does it really matter? Because you're either going on the road to Hudsonville week 1 or you're going on the road to Rockford week 1, and who knows then as well. But because at this point in time, it's essentially winning out to get to the 2 seed and actually get a home game, but then you get a home game still against one of those other teams. At the end of the day, the team that mostly cares about how well Grandville does is Hudsonville and Rockford are rooting for Grandville to win every game possible. Whoever winds up the 1 seed, I should say, they're rooting for Grandville to win every game possible the rest of the way to get Jenison as the 4.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's pretty well established there, the 4 teams that are going to be in it, and kind of that fight at 1 and 2 is Hudsonville, Rockford, and as we talked about that game this week, going to be also determining that as far as the playoff points there, and then that 3 and 4 Jenison, Grandville. So kind of both of those head-to-heads this week taking place, and getting a little preview there. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be the same teams. It's exactly how they're going to match up, and I mean, no matter how you want to look at it for the Bulldog side of things, it's would you rather play Hudsonville? Would you rather play Rockford? I mean, we just saw what happened against Rockford. Of course, I mean, the thing is, in order to go on a run in the playoffs, you're going to have to beat them both anyway. So, it's about that matchup. But the things to be shaken out there, and it could be really interesting as far as exactly how those playoff points shake out. And,
does Caledonia sneak back into the enough? I doubt it, looking at their schedule. But, they, again, the luckiest team in the planet is East Kentwood getting out of that district. That still is the luckiest thing possible. And also, I will say, based on going from our discussion last week, and this is just based on kind of this week how snooze has, and it's going to change, but like, this week, some of those really nasty teams have moved out. You still have got Catholic Central and Clarkston and Davison, so they haven't moved out. You've just lost, I think Belleville has just moved. Yeah, Belleville's the one that changed, so never mind, it still's bad. It's not, whatever Hudsonville got last year right now is not coming into form. So yeah, all right, we'll take a real quick break here, hear from the Sinner Agency and so forth, and come back, preview Grandville Jenison, do our rankings, get out of here again, trying to keep this show a little bit quick this week since we don't have an interview and no one wants to listen to us talk anyway, so we'll be right back. This broadcast is presented by Farmers Insurance, Bennett Sinner Agency in Wyoming. For all auto, home, specialty, life, and commercial insurance needs, see what a Sinner can do for you. Call today at 616-980-4949 or visit at 2240 28th Street Southwest in Wyoming. All right, welcome back. Let's roll into it. 3-2, Grandville and Jenison. This week, CT once again. We won't be there. Watch the student broadcast. They do a good job. So good production on that. So watch that and so forth. The Cubs just win? No, not quite yet. Okay. At the end of the day, this is Coach Stiegel always tells us all the time, especially when I start going on about trying to create like big picture narratives and stuff. He always, one game at a time. Next game's the biggest game. That has never been more true than it is right now this week. Oh my goodness, they almost blew the game. Okay, setting up the point. Yeah. But this is the definition of what we what we hear from in that perspective of, this is a game that it certainly should be winnable. Jenison struggled on offense. We'll talk about all that, but you got to lock right back in and completely flush whatever may have happened last week. Yeah,
it's a big one. A quick turnaround that, it's like going into the season, this is one of those games that I'm sure the Bulldogs feel like they should win, but it's also the one that you don't want to overlook, and you don't want the things that happened last week to linger into this week. It's a big one for as far as trying to get some momentum going back your way, as we just talked about in the playoff points. It's you need to get all the winnable ones out of the way, and then you worry about the bigger games down the road as well. So, last year is the Jenison game that the Bulldogs won 46-35. That score maybe even closer than what the game felt like, but a Jenison team that isn't maybe as bad as they were years ago, where it was an automatic win. This is a team that can compete, and if you let them hang around and win a game, they will do so.
Yeah, they lost big to Hudsonville, as you mentioned. Josh Lucas, their now second-year head coach. He was head coach at Chelsea when they beat Unity Christian, so he knows a bit about the T offense and stopping it. Their offense has struggled. They haven't scored more than 28 points, but they do a lot of the things that like a Rockford type offense does. It's a very college spread offense, traditionally. At least what they ran at Chelsea. It's a little different here at Jenison, but it's a very college spread offense, very RPO based a lot of the time. They're going to throw the ball, but everything they do is kind of going to be built around throwing to run and running the football. Brody Scheideman's their lead running back. He's been good, but it's an offense that they can kind of kill you to death by 1,000 paper cuts kind of type of offense. Slashing you quick RPO here, 5 yards, 6 yards. Like they are that sort of team that have an ability to move the ball that way and kind of clock control in a modern clock control offense.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's historically been one of those offenses that if you can stop it, and if you're a stout defense that's well prepared, you can usually limit it pretty effectively, and they're going to struggle to put up some points. If you are not well prepared and are sound defensively, they're going to be able to have some creative plays, and then that style of offense is going to be able to beat you, and they're going to be able to put up points. Now, they haven't done so. They haven't, as you said, scored more than 28 points, so they're that high-end number hasn't been there, but it's one of those things that it's a lot of those reads, and you have to be sound defensively on reading your keys and being home defensively in order to limit them from having some of those big holes in the run game, and then some of those quick throws as well to the outside when they get to more of that RPO style stuff.
I guess for Grandville, let's break down what are we going to from afar be looking to see. And again, this is also a note to the student broadcast. Make sure it works, because I will be back in my hotel room in time to watch the race, from the race to watch the game. So make sure, students, that the broadcast works, because I am watching. So no pressure, but I'm watching. So just no one else matters. Just Nate needs to be able to see the game. So yes. The running back group in that mix, and we saw Gavin Love inserted into it as well. We saw guys mixed up, constantly trying to get it. I think at the end of the day, they're going to have to find where can they get some of the speed, where can they get to the edge, where can they get the power, where can they get this, I think they have a lot of mixes that they can go to. I'll be curious to see what sort of more consistent mix they're going to be able to find, or at least continue to just lottery ball it up, but then just get a little bit more consistency with just, the defense not knowing what they're looking at, which is possibly what could be the most effective way forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think, kind of getting back to what the mix was in that Caledonia game, the last half there, the last 3 quarters really of that game, finding that mix a little bit better. And again, don't want to read too much into one game and against Rockford defense like that. And so kind of getting back to what they had established before there, where getting multiple guys the football and then finding that speed to the outside, that presence. Who's going to step up? If Tank continues to miss some weeks, who's going to be the guy? I think Hardeman had some, even in that loss, had some nice runs getting to the outside. I think this is a match where he can feast a little bit more, likely able to see Haney get the ball more and allow him to kind of be that physical, wear you down style runner. I think Gavin Love, you saw a little bit of him on a Friday night as well.
Just one.
What are we flying the W over there?
Yeah, we just flew the W.
Okay. Gavin Love could be one of those guys that maybe becomes involved a little bit more in his speed to the off tackle sides, and but yeah, kind of getting back to that effective mix that they had, and effectively throwing that last week's game away and what we saw offensively.
Yeah, no, it's cleaning things up. The pass game, get some creative things, get back on timing their defense, keep it up, I think, defensively, but not be on the field as much as they were. It's just as, I think, looking for a cleaner performance against a team that you should be able to get, back to running what you want, not running into a little bit of a brick wall and needing to get overly schemy with them, which is what they're going to probably have to be next time, against Rockford. And again, at the end of the day, you need 2 more wins. 1 more win, you're probably safe. 2 more wins, you're definitely safe. So now you have back-to-back weeks where you can do that. So they have to win. I mean, these next 2, normally, these are 2 cannot slip up games, and they're 2 teams that, Grand Haven the last couple years has played them kind of close. Grand Haven, 2 years ago, Grand Haven was really chippy. Their first year under Coach Biedenbender, and they were in there. They've got pretty good quarterback play, I think I heard this year at Grand Haven. We know Jenison's well coached. So back-to-back weeks, you can't slip up.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be really, really critical that, they win on the margins and they do little things, which honestly they kind of did against Rockford, just couldn't move the ball. So,
right.
Just be able to move the ball and go from there. All right, again, short show this week. We're trying to get everyone in and out in 30 minutes here because it's just us talking. So, do you have any other points of what you're watching for on Friday?
No, I think covered the majority of it there. I think I also will be listening to some extent. So
big. No one in the history of the world's been luckier than you, by the way, that you had 2 weeks that you were going to miss this year.
Yeah.
And that both of them were they valid excuses? Yeah, more or less. But this one lining up directly with when I'm also gone really works out.
You're going to take the blame on this one.
Chandler's golden horseshoe just continues to stay absolutely. It's actually a platinum horseshoe at this point in time. I don't even know what to tell you. You want to do some rankings?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is what people are here for. You go first.
All right.
There you go. We're up. Take us through.
Okay. There was a lot of thought that went into this because
it was tough. This week.
This is, the first couple weeks of the season, it's been, things have been kind of getting figured out and kind of had an idea of what we thought. And then basically this week, for me at least, my 5 to 10, they're much entirely lost.
Yeah, and 11 through 20, you could make an argument deserve to be in the top 10. Yeah.
So there was some shuffling around here. The top stayed pretty similar, but from 10 to 1, we'll go West Catholic 10, Muskegon. After they were, I think, in my initial top 10, have snuck back in for the first time. Kennewill Hills at 8, Northview 7, Grandville dropping down to 6 after the loss. East Kentwood now ahead of them at 5. Unity stays put at 4. GRCC stays put at 3. I've got Rockford after the big win bumping up to 2, kind of taking that second place in the OK Red spot, and then Hudsonville remaining at the 1 for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, they really are, I mean, Grand Rapids Catholic Central, I thought it would be their offense this year. I mean, they can't score. They only put up 10, and again, we talked about it on the previous show. Like we knew it was going to be a lower scoring game, but I didn't think 10-0 lower scoring would be what it would be. But that's what it was. So they're like, for all the offense and the sophomore quarterback play and the stuff they have, like they're an elite defensive team, and like they seem back in place. West Catholic trailed a lot of the way against Spring Lake, kind of came back late and won. Kennewick Hills loses, but they offensively keep rolling. Northview loses, but like, what do you do with EGR? Because now EGR is beating people, they're grinding people out. I don't know. Yeah, everyone lost, so I don't know what you do with it. Grandville has a win over Muskegon, but now they have a Cass Tech and they have this Rockford loss.
Yeah,
but
I think in my edits I had Grandville anywhere from 6 to 10 in my list, and then. But
the thing is, it depends also. Are you going merit or what are they? Because you could say that they should actually still be 3, because there's a good chance that like they may have lost to what is just consistently 1 or 2.
Yep.
And like you have to put some merit in what you've done in there, but 1 through 4 might just be those OK Red 4.
It could be. You could make the argument. I mean, that's after the week we had last week is. You really could make an argument for 6 through 10. I think you could make an argument they could swap anywhere. And then, if you want to start looking at, just overall top teams as far as the talent that's in the OK Red and the quality of teams there, and if you wanted to organize them that way. But, kind of some madness that took place. And so that's the best I could come up with for this week.
You ready for what I came up with?
I can't wait.
A lot of questions on what I would wind up doing. And I kept it pretty chalky. So after week 5, number 1, I'm going to go Ohio State.
Okay.
Number 2, Oregon. They got the win over Penn State, but I think still Ohio State has a stronger second win. Plus, remember the Texas win back to week 1. Miami 3. I mean, I don't love that team, but they're a little bit more physical this year under Mario Cristobal. Keep it going. Texas A&M, a team I really like. I think Colin Klein is like one of the best offensive coordinators in the country. They can play some defense as well with Mike Elko's team. So, we saw, if you're a Michigan fan, you saw Oklahoma. But again, without John Mateer here, they could be set to drop. Ole Miss is where I kind of break away from the AP poll. I have them a little bit lower. And then, why are you laughing? I think these are fine rankings. 7, Penn State. I mean, they lose, but they take number 2 to overtime. Yeah. So, I think at the end of the day, we'll see. They don't have a Power 4 win yet, but I do think that's a pretty good team, as long as Andy Koldenicki just chills on some of the gimmicky stuff out of that. Like the Blizzard offense is cool, but just chill a little. Indiana, I do not like Kurt Signetti. I do not like them. I just don't, but they keep winning, so whatever. And now my 2 here that are the personal picks. As you may know, I am the leader of the Eli Drinkwitz to Michigan bandwagon if the need comes to be. So I have them at 9, and then Georgia Tech, Brent Key and that team have my favorite offense to watch in the country. So that's my top 10. It's, again, like Missouri, Georgia Tech, maybe a little bit low, but that is my week 6.
Those are just your personal,
that's just kind of where I'm at, top 10 wise. I think it's probably not overly.
Too controversial there, as you've maybe been known to do with some of your top 10s?
Yeah.
Okay. I was really curious how this was going to work and how we were going to find a way to wiggle out of it.
What do you mean? I did 10 after 5 weeks of the football season. I ranked 10 teams.
That's true. That's what the people wanted.
That's what the people wanted right there. They got it. That's my top 10.
Okay.
Stay tuned next week, because based on the way things go in Hudsonville, Rockford, you might be getting who knows what kind of rankings you're going to get from me. So that's what you get right there. There's my top 10. Yeah. So once again, we are not doing the game on this coming Friday night. So apologies to that. We'll be back. Radio coverage for Grand Haven and video coverage. What a weird schedule, by the way, all the radio games mid-season, but the last 2 games of the year back at Grandville, we'll have video coverage of those contests. We'll have our audio and our video synced up properly. We'll have that synced, and we'll have whatever when we're doing games. We'll have trying Dress code followed.
From now on, are we allowed to wear Grandville versus everybody shirts on the broadcast?
No, that's a one-time thing.
That was a one-time thing.
And it didn't work out well. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, if there had been a comeback and a win,
probably.
You telling me there was a chance?
I mean, maybe, but yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
We'll see. All right. Good show. Quick show. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Got nothing else.
Seems like you do. It seems like you have something you want to say, but you just...
I mean, there's lots of things I want to say. I'm finding a way. This is a part of the show where whatever I say is going to get cut. So why waste the breath? Because then it's going to be lost forever. The people will never see it.
I don't cut anything from this show.
Okay.
Ever.
I have to, if I want to get anything, any inside jokes, this is where it's a little unfair. I have to sneak them in amidst my analysis and picks and whatever. I can't just tack it on at the end because that just gets gone.
I mean, not necessarily. I have to say goodbye to everyone at the end.
Okay.
So until I do that, it's all fair game.
Okay.
Goodbye, everyone.